Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Hazel or Hazely Nut bringing to you another audio commentary, this time of a single game in the match between OGN Sparkies and eSTRO, played earlier this week. Now I do say ladies and gentlemen in my opening because I harbor an undying, everlasting hope that there are females out there in the world. I mean, female StarCraft gamers out there in the world. I hope that there are many just cloaked, burrowed, female wraiths and lurkers. If lurkers could be female, I'm not sure how the logistics would work for that, but I hope that there are many females out there. And, you know, I just want to see me some females. I'm sure many of you share the sentiment, whether you be female or male in the StarCraft community. Hopefully all of you will come and join us and, you know, establish a community that's fully flourishing with balanced demographics. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Anyway, you know, it's really nice to have a toss girl, but it'd be even nicer to have our own toss girl in the foreign scene. Not saying that I could be that toss girl because I'm only probably a D or D+. But anyway, back to the game. We have Yarnc spawning as purple Zerg at the bottom right corner playing for OGN Sparkies, and we have Sangho, who is looking quite concentrated right now, spawning in teal Protoss at the top right. We are playing on Andromeda, which is actually a very Zerg imbalanced map. It's very imba. And part of the reason is probably because it is such a large map with so many expansions that the Zerg can just crawl over and infest everywhere, every single corner of the map, and that really suits the nature of a Zerg player. Zerg players want to expand everywhere, start colonies here and there, contributing minerals and resources to the hive mind, the central hive mind, having units from every corner of the map channeled straight at the Protoss player. And yeah, that's how Zergs play. They play with massive units and all for the glory of the swarm, you know, that sort of playstyle. Whereas Protoss players are kind of different from that. Their power lies in the strength of numbers. Protoss armies depend on being concentrated, kind of like a dagger, kind of like a bisu, which is dagger in Korean. Kind of like bisu, yeah. Bisu is quite the Protoss player, by the way. Just putting in a plug for the most handsome man in Pro League. I must say, not reach Bisu. Anyway, Protoss players kind of need that concentrated army. They need to build up that mass of Zealots, Dragoons, Templars, Archons, and attack focused loci of targets rather than expansions all over the map, which is what the Zerg players are prone to do. Now we are seeing a 12 hatch from Yarnc, and we are seeing a forge fast expand from Sangho. Sangho does discover this 12 hatch. He is sending a probe, and he probably sees that 12 hatch. He's not going to need to put down too many cannons, probably no cannons actually, before plopping down a Nexus. Now this is Andromeda, it is 4-player map. I don't think either player really anticipated being able to scout out the other player so early, even though they already have. But both players have gone for that early early expansion macro style play, and we're probably going to see a relatively long match. I'm not sure. Andromeda tends to drag on a bit just because of that little choke that makes it so difficult for players to push up. We might see even some, I don't know, dropship play, maybe Reavers, maybe Mutalisks, something that just makes it easier for the player to get up that cliff, to get into that base that's so easily defendable. I think we just saw a 3rd hatchery from Yarnc. This map is actually quite conducive to something like 3 hatch Mutalisks because of that really easily protected mineral only. But, you know, if I were Yarnc, I probably wouldn't go Mutalisk. Of course, I would have Yarnac's Mutalisk control, so maybe I would, but Mutalisks never seem to work for me on Andromeda. It's so difficult just because there aren't really those ridges that you want to be able to use in order to have effective Mutalisk harass. There just isn't, and it might even get scouted out beforehand so that the long distance from base to base would allow for Sangho to build cannons in time, to prepare in time for anything like Mutalisks. So we might see Hydras. I would go Hydras personally, and I hope to see Hydras, just so that Yarnc doesn't lose, because I really love Zerg players. But anyway, the Protoss players in this matchup actually have much more difficult of a job, I think, because the Protoss player has to scout out every possible combination that the Zerg player can throw at them. Zerg players can go speedlings, they can go 9 overpool, they can go 6 pool even, 5 pool if you're, or 4 pool if you're feeling ambitious, or you can go Mutalisks, you can go Hydras, you can go 2 Hatch Lurkers, you can go a variety of things, and it's up to the Protoss player to keep scouting. And unfortunately for Sangho, Yarnc is the one scouting with this one Zergling, this one hero Zergling that somehow sneaked past that one photon cannon that did not spawn in time, did not warp in time, excuse me. I'm confusing my generation verbs. I believe it's spawn, warp, and build. But anyway, we're seeing a Stargate from Sangho. He's probably going to build a Corsair in order to have that early scout and also that general nuisance to Overlords. It's really annoying to the Zerg player. That probe is still alive. Good job by Sangho keeping that probe alive, even though that luxury has been forced to build a couple more Zerglings to deal with it. That probe might actually see that a Spire has been put down, and the Hydralisk down was put down just a few seconds later. I'm not sure actually if that probe scouted that out. I'm actually wondering, is it possible that Sangho thinks that Yarnc only has a Spire now? It might be interesting. Sangho probably will be prepared for either case scenario. He is building a Corsair right now. He will be able to go into the base and scout. He has +1 weapons upgraded. I think he is safe for now. Protosses tend to be really safe doing this build. Fast Expand has become a really standard play. It's perfected almost. They know exactly where to place that pylon, where to place that forge. But it looks like Yarnc is building several Zerglings. I think he is sending 8 Zerglings, 8 speed upgraded Zerglings, and they're approaching the base right now. But he sees that photon cannon, he sees that Zealot and Dragoon and those pole probes, and there is no way that those Zerglings will be able to go in to do a surround. Really, that gateway, that forge placement is going to prevent any major Zergling bust unless Yarnc commits more fully, but I doubt that he will. Meanwhile, he is going for that Hydra Den. I think we can probably expect something like mass Hydralisks. A lot of Zergs go for this build recently. They go for that early Spire for Scourge just to take out any Corsairs, the really annoying Corsairs that are currently taking out that Overlord. Strangely enough, I'm not sure if Sangho should be doing that Overlord sniping. I think he should be scouting with those Corsairs. He has, in the meantime, built another Stargate. I think we're going to see a lot of Corsairs right now. I'm not sure how beneficial of a tactic that is. If Yarnc had gone Mutalisks, that might have been a better idea to get Corsairs. But at this point, that's not as necessary. Sangho has dedicated quite a few cannons to his main base as well, just to get rid of any Mutalisks, even though Yarnc has switched gears into Hydralisks, and those Scourge are valiantly scouting. Scourge play a dual role, really, for the Zerg player. They both scout and kill pesky Corsairs. They're so cute. Look at them flying around for Yarnc, sacrificing their lives. They're beautiful. They're very beautiful creatures, I think. Anyway, just so that I didn't miss it earlier, Sangho did place that Citadel of Idun. We might see the Bisu build. We might see that that combination of Corsairs and DTs. Yarnc does have that wonderful little Zergling concave waiting for probe scouts just to keep Sangho from realizing that he has gone mass Hydralisk. Unfortunately, this group of Corsairs is going to meet a whole lot of Hydralisks. Hydralisko. Corsair. But anyway, these Corsairs are doing quite a lot of damage to those Overlords. That's a problem with Hydralisks, I think, is that they have no mobility. You have to commit yourself to a couple of spore colonies, which Yarnc is doing right now, just because Hydralisks don't move very well. Even though they are moving right now, they're moving out towards Sangho's base. We'll have to see if Sangho has enough defense. I don't know if he has enough photon cannons. He sees this though. We can see it in his first person VOD. He sees it and he is frantically building those photon cannons. He probably will be prepared. And this is really why intelligence is so important. Those Scourge told Yarnc